If possible, send somebody to that farm to be sure you are buying from the authentic source. I'm sorry, middlemen. I know this is your business, but I'm all here for people who love agriculture, who want to start, or who have people that they might want to impact this knowledge on. Please always get to the source of your birds, because along the line, I will tell you why. Welcome to this channel, but today I just want to talk about how I lost millions of naira to scammers when I first started poultry. I ventured into farming about 7 years ago. It will be 7 years this year when I first entered into poultry farming, and I crossed my T's and dotted my I's. I've already built the structure, we have the cages. The only thing left for me to do was to buy my birds. And this is where the problem came. Because I didn't know where to buy birds, and I started with point of lay, buying point of lay birds. Please, for new farmers or anybody watching that is interested in agriculture, point of lay birds means buying birds that are ready to lay, which means I'm not buying them as chicks, but I'm buying them as full-blown young adult birds, which means they'll be giving me eggs in less than 3 weeks. Some new farmers, I would advise you, if you cannot rear your birds and you're going into poultry farming, please buy point of lay from a reputable farm. I'll get back to that in other series. Back to the gist. And so I met a friend of mine who was into farming, although she was into broiler farming. And I told her, please, do you know anybody that sells birds, point of lay birds? And she said yes, that she has somebody that she knows, not really well, but through another person in the city of Ibadan, that he supplies birds to farms and he would attend to me. And so she gave me his number and I contacted him. He talked a bunch. He talked about, that how he has been supplying many farms to Port Harcourt. He practically put my mind at rest that, I'm at the right place. At that time, the cost of birds, I was getting just 1,000 birds because I was starting new. I will get into starting small when you're going into agriculture much later in another series. And so I told him that I just needed to buy 1,000 birds. I paid him. And I remember that then I paid him 1.5 million as at that time. I think I increased the capacity of my birds because I thought about the cost implication of bringing them from Ibadan down to Port Harcourt. And so I said, why not? So let me just stretch a bit. I shall know that I gave him 1.5 million naira first for my birds. My people, I gave him, and poultry farming, most times you have to book for birds. These birds are not just available for you when you just go to just buy off. No, you have to book, especially with farms who are rearing these birds for sale. You have to book and they put your name down and the number of birds. It's only if you're lucky, if at the point of sale and you want to buy birds that they have leftovers, then you can buy. But I'll advise you, if you're going into agriculture, always book from a reputable farm. And so I booked, and this is where I made a mistake. I should have gone to the farm in Ibadan, or I should have sent somebody, not me, my worker, my manager, to please go and locate this farm that this person called, even if he was coming highly recommended. You cannot blame me. He was coming highly recommended. I didn't think he would, he would want to swindle me. But at the end of this, I got to know that he was not the main farmer. Yes. Please, there are lots of middlemen in this business. There are lots of middlemen that actually don't own farms, that you will give your money to, and they will go to the farms to source for birds. Now, these middlemen do not have your interest at heart. Instead, they have their own interest at heart. So what happened was, he posed to me that he has a farm. I thought I was dealing with a farmer, but I didn't know I was dealing with a middleman and possibly a scammer. I waited. He told me I should wait for like 3 weeks. The birds are like 14 weeks. And then I was still about 16 weeks or so I should wait. And when it was 16 weeks, so I called him. I said, please, what about the birds and everything? Give me their schedule. And then I started hearing stories. I started hearing that, that bird was not good. He wants to look for another farm that has better birds for me. That's him. And he went there. He was not happy with what he saw. They did not give them the right vaccinations. Me, what did I know as a new farmer? I let him. My people, this thing, from a 1 month, from a 1 month period, it got into a 3 month period of me always calling him to ask for my birds, and he would give me one story or another. Please wait 2 weeks. This farm has this birds at this age, this one, and then he stopped picking my calls. Now, as a new farmer, this is what you should do before I continue this gist. Verify the farm that you are buying your birds from. What they call bad stock. Birds are not of good stock. So if you're buying from a middleman, and you now get into problems when these birds stop laying or they cannot lay, how would you manage yourself? How would you know the particular farm that this middleman bought those birds? Because the middleman business is to carry the birds and give you. He doesn't care. So that's why I'm saying you spend so much money in agriculture, you don't need to lose it. You get to the source of that farm, you send somebody, even if it is in the north, or send somebody there, or call somebody to help you go and verify that that farm is in progress, that that farm is existing, number one. Number two, I want you to ask for their vaccination records. Before a bird is being sent to you at 16 weeks, there are steps you should follow before it gets to that point. And so the farm should have a complete vaccination record of your birds. The particular day they were given, the gomboro, every single thing, your vaccination records should be provided by the farm to you. Can it be doctored? Yes, it can. But still do your due diligence. If the farm is near, once in a while, pop in. Send people there to look at your birds. Send people there to see whether they are giving them the right vaccination when needed. Because all this is what I didn't do as a new farmer. I did not know these steps. There was nobody here to guide me at that time, 6 or 7 years ago, into also what to do, what to look out for. I did not know so much farmers around where I stay in Port Harcourt. I stay in Nigeria, River State, Port Harcourt. So we did not have so much farmers then. I didn't know what to do. I was just flying blind, but I knew that I needed to start up this business. Make sure you are dealing with a farm that has integrity. You can be dealing with a farm, you can be dealing with a main farmer, but the person doesn't have integrity. The person might say that, oh, I have given them this so and so vaccinations, but he hasn't given them that. Or he will shortchange those birds, and by the time these birds come to you, they start either they're not laying well, or they start falling sick, or they start dying. This is why you need to be sure of the kind of farm, reputable farm that you are buying from. You have to meet other farmers that buy point of lay, ask them questions, hear their reviews, and you buy according to what you hear, please. Because you might see a big farm with birds, it doesn't mean that they are well taken care of. And as soon as they have sold to you, they have sold to you. There's nothing you can do about it. Back to my story. And so this guy was, he stopped picking up my call. In fact, then I was even much younger. I had to video call him then to actually know what was going on. So he has seen me. He knew that I was a very young girl then, much younger than I look now. And most of the time when I would call him, oh, please, hello, please, what about my birds? You told me that you would deliver in July. He would just say, look, have patience. This is not how it was done. He was very aggressive towards me. And then I knew that something is wrong somewhere until he stopped picking up my calls. And so I put in a few calls and they tracked his phone. They tracked his phone, brought in some security agencies in the country, and we found him. We found him in Lagos State. He was having lunch with his family in ShopRite with my hard-earned 3 million. In fact, he had like a semi-new car then, and he carried all his family to ShopRite to have lunch, because what I heard was that the police picked him up in ShopRite in Lagos State. You know the way it goes. They start begging, they start saying it is the devil's work. He said that he actually used the money, and I got to find out that he was not even the main farmer. Yes, he must have supplied 1 or 2 birds in the past, but apparently when I sent him that bulk money, he used the money to sort out his own problems, hoping that another business would pay him and he would get my birds. And that business did not pay him, and the only thing he thought to do was to run. This has been the story of many farmers, if they can come out boldly to say what they have seen in agriculture. If you're on this page, I'm not here to sell you a facade. I am here to guide you. I'm here to tell you this is how it is. I'm here to speak by experience. If you are paying money to anybody, please do not pay full. Because I paid the full money, then I didn't know so much. He asked me for the full money, and because I really wanted those birds, I was desperate, and he was the only person that I knew. I paid him every dime to the end. Normally, when we are booking for birds now, as an experienced farmer talking to you, we pay either 60% or 70% or 50%, depending on what the seller states, but we never pay full, because you have to be sure of your birds before you pay the full amount. Number 2, I will advise you, visit the farm, check your birds, know what's going on with your birds. There was a story I put out one time last year on my other social media platforms like Instagram. You would have seen where I cried because I lost so many birds. Even at last year, as an experienced farmer, it was still happening to me. The birds were not the problem, it was the transportation that was a problem. So if you look down, I think I made a post about this on my page. If you look down in my poultry segment, you would see where I talked about mortality rates in poultry farms and how it can be cut. I'm going to do a second series about this because there are many things to tighten up from your end that can reduce your mortality rate. He paid me my money after being in detention. His family were begging. We seized his car and everything. But in 2 weeks, my complete money and extra fell out. And then I learned my lesson. I started doing my due diligence. I started living outside my city. I was calling Lagos. I went on social media. I had to browse out farms. I had to talk to 1 or 2 people that came highly recommended. And then this time around, I sent somebody to the farm to be sure that I'm talking to the farmer. Today, a point of lay bird can be going for 5,600, and that is the cheapest as of today. So times 5,600 naira times, let's say 1,000 birds minus transportation. And you see how much you would lose if you do not do your due diligence. Nobody wants to waste money. It's 5,600,000. That's not the money you just want to waste. The worst thing is that if your birds are there, what if they are sending you bad birds? Because some people sell birds that are not of good parent stock. Some people sell birds that are not completely vaccinated. Some farms sell birds that they know that are not up to the ages. The problem in buying point of lay birds is there is a certain weight that comes with your bird at each week. The farm tells you that I'm sending your birds at 14 weeks and you pay for 14 weeks bird. You, not me, I won't do that for you on YouTube here. You go and ask or browse about it's on the internet to find out the weight of an average laying poultry 14 weeks bird. Because with birds, it's not by ages for me, it's by weight. Because when they start laying, they lay when they get to that maturity, when they get to that weight, everything contributes to their laying process. So you see farms that are shortchanging people selling 12 weeks old birds at 14 weeks for you. And by 18 to 20 weeks, when you expect them to start laying, because they lied and they sold you birds that are much younger, but in their charts, it was showing 14 weeks. Meanwhile, when you bought those birds, they were about 3 weeks younger than what you expected. The farmer starts spending more feeding them. That's why I say knowing where you buy your stock is critical. The integrity of the farmer matters. It's not the farm. There are many farms now doing point of lay birds, rearing point of lay birds for let me say farmers. It makes it easier, especially for people who do not have a land or space to brood. They might have battery cages already built up and they need to buy these birds straight to the cage. So you have to know where you are buying from. You should know the vaccines that they are meant to be given, the last vaccine. And if there's any remaining vaccine, the farm should tell you. It happened to me once before. I buy from a reputable farm, and there was a time they said, oh, it's remaining this vaccine to give them. Please buy and give them at 16 weeks or at 17 weeks. That should be clear. Because if you miss a vaccine, it is going to tell on these birds while they are laying for you. You see, farming is garbage in, garbage out, especially when it comes to poultry birds. Whatever you give them is whatever they will give you. However you rear them is what you will see. The shege you used to rear them is the shege you will see throughout. This is not to scare anyone, but just tell you these are the things to look out for. Please research. You are allowed to ask as many questions as possible. You are not spending paper, you're spending money. You are allowed to, every farm should open their doors to you or to your manager or anybody you are sending there to inspect your birds. You are allowed to do that as far as you have paid the money. I have a friend that because of their chat, on the day of their vaccination, she sent somebody there to be sure that they are giving them that vaccine, each and every one. We have gotten to that point, especially in Nigeria. Only a few farms that you can go and sleep and know that this person has integrity, and this person, if they say they have given these birds, they have given these birds. Very few. To research and know that, yes, these people, they are who they say they are. I would not endorse any farm out here for now for certain reasons. Yes, some people come up to me in, let me say, social media, ask me, please, where did you buy your birds from? Please, you want to buy point of lay. I refer them to where I buy my birds from. But I'm trying to tell you that you should do your own research despite what I tell you. Because this year it might be good, next year standard might fall. So that's why I will not be here to put out any farm and say, especially when it is not my farm, rearing it and say, God, please head to this farm. You will get the best. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Please, when it comes to farming, do your due diligence. If not that I had a few strings to pull, this was how I would have lost close to 3 million naira in the scam. Imagine me 6 years ago, you know what 3 million naira is? It's about 6 million naira right now because of the value of the naira. Imagine me starting up a farm and I'm going through that. Always look out for farms that look out for the well-being of their clients. Why do I say that? I had an experience with a certain farm. In fact, he is the current farm. I think he's the person that bought that farm. Is a person that I've been buying birds from Point of Lay for the past 3 years and they have never disappointed. Even if I have small disappointments here and there, they always find a way to make it up. And that's why I'm with them till now. This is what happened. So there was a time I bought birds from them and they sent me these birds and they forgot to tell me of the vaccination and to give them this last vaccination. And so the birds passed that stage and I started seeing that they were not producing as they would as after they say new birds, and I will call the farm. I called the farm and I'm like, look, this is what I noticed. These birds are 21 weeks. They are not producing what they are supposed to produce. Why? And they checked their charts and they were the ones that told me, oh, sorry, we forgot to tell you that we should give them this at a certain stage. But don't worry, we are sending our veterinary doctors to your farm. We're sending our farm manager to your site. He's going to stay on your farm and is going to make sure that your birds are up to production. They found out, even if that lapsed, that, oh, they forgot to tell me this. But you can see how they tried to remedy the situation because they looked out for my clientele. They looked out for me continuing business with them. They came to my farm. They stayed on my farm for 2 weeks with my birds, giving them medications, giving them injections, and making sure that they come up to speed before going back to their base. And did it stop me from not buying birds from them the following year? I bought. I bought because I found out that these people do not want to lose their reputation. These people have integrity. These people want to keep their client base. And to see that their birds are doing well would actually fall back on them. Very few farms like that look out for your clients. The client makes complaint, they'll either be defensive, did you feed them, did you give them water, maybe they are sick. Oh, no. They try to understand where the problem is coming from. If it's coming from them, they come to rectify. So please, my point is look out for farms that have the client's interest at heart and not just to sell. And not just a one-day thing and the sell-off. I want to make sure they are even scared of anybody smearing their name. Because that's the kind of person that I am. So I love to work with people that have integrity. People that put the welfare of their clients before their own personal gain. Because along the line, it will benefit you and benefit that client. I know how many people have sent their way just because of this singular act. So please, always look out for such farms. If there's any question you have in the comment section to ask me, please ask me. It's a new year and I will be here 247, 3 times a week. So expect a new video in the next 2 days. Thank you for sticking with me and I hope you learned 1 or 2 from all this I've said. But your favorite farmer is here for the long run. If you love this video, please show me love and share my video. See you guys in the next episode in 2 days. Take care. Bye.